ZY, and I'm here with Dillanponders, very special guest today. Thank you for coming to the Red Cup, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you having me here.
No problem.
I want to specify my Red Cup is filled with water. I don't drink alcohol, but if you drink alcohol, do your thing. It's just not for me.
And with that, let's have a Red Cup cheers.
Yeah. Appreciate it, my guy.
Yes, thank you for coming. I appreciate you, man. Thank you coming in here. We're vibing, right? So, Dylan.
Yes.
How are you? First things first.
I'm honestly really good, man. Mentally, I think I'm in one of the best places I've been in my entire young adult life. Physically, I'm good. About 130 days ago, I cut alcohol out of my life entirely, and it's been honestly a really crazy, beautiful transition for me.
Look at that. That's what's
and spiritually, I'm where I always am, which is infinitely abundant. You know, I feel good. I feel good on all levels right now. So to answer your question, without a surface level answer, I feel abundantly great.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And that's good to hear.
Thank you,
man.
man.
That's good to hear, man.
It's good to feel, you know?
Yeah. So, let's talk music, man.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Let's talk music, man. For the audience and the people that don't really know you, right? What type of music does Dillanponders bring to the table?
I can only really answer this question subjectively.
Okay.
My answer would be good music.
No, of course.
No, but for real, like, I feel like it's other people's job to say what kind of music it is, and it's my job to just make it purely, you know? If I were to be pitching, say, a song for a playlist, I would say that first and foremost, I'm a hip hop artist.
Let's get it.
When it comes to rhyming, hip hop, that's what birthed me as a creator. That's like the foundation that I kind of built everything on. So I'm a hip hop artist, I think, first and foremost, and I think genre-wise,
alternative?
Oh yeah, you know, because like that would be the only way to keep it ambiguous enough to represent it properly. So yeah, let's just go with, for the sake of the people who need a label on it, alternative hip hop.
Let's get it.
Yeah,
let's get it.
100%.
Last project, Mushrooms and Melodies.
Yes, sir.
Very great.
Thank you.
Artwork, man.
Appreciate
very great artwork.
Appreciate that.
What made you come to make a whole compilation of this, a whole EP?
You know, it wasn't an intentional thing. It kind of happened to me. Like, I went to the Dominican with my girl the second week of November to celebrate my 30th birthday.
Happy birthday, by the way, belated.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to get out of the city, and you know, it was just, in November is when Toronto starts to get just like unapologetically cold, and it's like, yo, we got to get out of here. You're from Montreal, so you already know.
That's right.
You already know. It's like three pants, 2 coats, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
leggings on deck.
we took a vacation, and on that vacation, I decided that drinking just wasn't for me. I was intaking a lot of alcohol on my first couple of days. I felt really sick. Leading up to that, I've been drinking every day in the city, and my alcohol addictive habits were building up through the years, and I become overly dependent on it. And I just kind of made the decision that I'm just gonna stop drinking for as long as I want to. So set a goal for 90 days, got back to Toronto, and the first song that I recorded, just because I felt down and sad, and like I was like really craving a drink. It was like a week and a half without drinking. I made Empty Man.
Oh.
And like,
I'm an empty man.
Yeah. And when I finished the song, it was like, oh shit, like, I didn't even make this for this to sound sick. I made this because I had to. Let's see what else we got. And then I made Somewhere You're Not, which is the second. I made every song on this album in order. So like the first song I made was Empty Man. Second song on the album is the second song I made, Somewhere You're Not. Third song is High Tay, that's the third one I made, and so on and so forth. And I realized that like spitting is like my sharpest tool. That's like what I'm best at. But I really just felt like the emotions that I was going through could only be captured through singing. Like it's just one of those things where I'm like, I need to sing these things. It's just sad.
Pour it out.
Yeah, you know, it was honestly because like even in like when it comes to Kanye West and when he made like 808s and Heartbreaks, I remember when he dropped that, everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Rap, you idiot!" But like he was like, "Yo, like I lost my mom and my girl in like the same week. Like I gotta make some. I gotta fucking sing." And like I felt a similar feeling not losing my mom and my girl. Ideally, don't lose those two for a very long time. But I felt the yearn. I was like, I just need to do something that's I want to do, not because this is what people wouldn't expect from Dillanponders per se. And the songs, all of them, man, like they were like I'd made them all like Empty Man one day, Somewhere You're Not the next day. Like they were just banging them out.
So just to you banged all those out in like 5 days. Is that what you're saying? Like it just day after?
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
I recorded and mixed the entire project in 11 days.
Look at you.
Yeah.
No, you really had to get that out, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you had to get that out.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and the timing of everything was great because I've been working with Brendan from Smashmouth for a really long time, and we had gotten to a place in my trajectory where I really wanted to be self-managed and take on the responsibilities of planning rollouts and discussions with distribution on my own. And it was a time where I felt free to release how I wanted to, you know?
Right. How long were you working with Smashmouth?
Smashmouth and I'll say Brendan because Brendan is Smashmouth.
Yes.
We were working for the better part of 6 years together, releasing music and planning, and him in turn showing me the business side of things. And when I first signed with Brendan, I'm veering off, but I'll come back. When I first signed with Brendan, he was one of the main booking agents. Like Smashmouth Entertainment was one of the main booking entities in Toronto that booked all of the poppin' and most relevant artists and camps, from Top Dog E&T, Absol, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller days. You booked Travis Scott. Rest in peace, Mac Miller, for real. Let me take a drink to that, for real. Rest in peace, and I'm sure he'd respect that I'm drinking water. And all of those experiences working with Brendan were beautiful. Like I got to sharpen my chops, performing, opening for like Travis Scott, Isaiah Rashad, Absol, the Underachievers, Joey Badass, fucking, like you name it. I was opening for some dope artists. So after that, we created a bit of a bond, and our business and personal relationships were just flowing really well. And after my last campaign, before Mushrooms and Melodies, which was Because We're Alive, that was kind of like our last hurrah. And we did exactly everything we set out to do with that project. We got like Netflix placements, we got all of the streams and then some we wanted. We accumulated the fan base that we wanted to, and it was beautiful. And I was at a point now where I felt like, yo, I'm ready to take care of what I got to take care of. So with Mushrooms and Melodies, I was like, yo, I'm gonna put this out right away.
And like just how you felt.
Just how you felt. Yeah, I mixed it all down. My producer mastered it, and I was ready to put it out. But yeah, I feel like you're about to ask a question.
Yeah, so you've been on this solo journey now for, we would say, a year or something like that?
I'd say the better part of 8 months.
Okay.
So we're leaning into a year, but not a year just yet.
Okay, and how do you find it?
It's
Mr. Ponders, how do you find it?
It's great. Genuine, honest answer. I really like it. I'm definitely built for all of the complications that come with being an independent artist, whether it dealing with planning rollouts, communicating with my distribution. I'm signed with Opposition, but there are plenty of distributors that people can work with, whether it be TuneCore, you can work with Foundation, you can work with, there are just independent distributors that you can work with all over. But I kind of just got to a point where I was like, well, what, as much as I love my team, and this is no disrespect to anyone I was working with, I'm like, I can do all of these things.
Right.
Like, and I want to do all of these things. And it was a time where I feel like everybody after my last album, from my manager Brendan to a few of the other people on the team, were ready to take on new chapters in their life. And I was like, yo, you gotta go and do that. You gotta follow what your destiny is. But for me, I always know that no one cares as much about what I'm doing as much as I do. No one does. I learned that so many times over and over, working, no matter who it is. Like, even if you're working with your mom, your mom's not gonna care as much as you do about your passion. You know, it's just how it goes. She'll care as much as she loves you, and as much as she thinks that you care, but no one cares in the way that you do. And for me, like, my trajectory is like a delicate baby, like zooming through infinity. You know, like I want to be the one like protecting this thing, and not putting it in other people's hands to fumble it.
Right.
So
How long you've been grinding for? So you've said you're ready to go out of the nest and just do you right now.
Yeah, I've been grinding for the better part of 11 years.
Let's get it.
2022 now. I started recording music in like 2009.
Do you feel you've done your 10,000 hours?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's like it's back of you. Like
oh
right
my
now,
God. I've done like 40,000.
Let's get it.
I've done all of the hours and then some. And like,
so how did we get to Dillanponders?
It wasn't even really like a deep thought. It was more like I've always been a pretty philosophical person, I'd say, and more of the close people around me would probably agree with that notion. So I didn't really want to be a guy like like fucking young this or little that, which I don't hate on it. It's just there's a lot of it, like I don't need to add to that infinite sea of unthought out names. So I was like, what feels good? And I'm like, I like my first name, Dylan, so I'll keep that. And what do I do a lot? Well, I ponder a lot. Dillanponders. That just kind of came into fruition, Did
you have any other names before this?
No, never. It was always like from the first thing I dropped on Bandcamp, like 12 years ago, it was Dillanponders.
Dillanponders.
Yeah, I always knew it was right. And I liked that when I search my name, no other names pop up. Like, like if you search like Lil something or like Lil Zane, you're probably gonna get 90,000 of them.
You get Dillanponders, just Dillanponders.
Yeah, and at the time, in the kind of the era where like new things like Twitter were just happening, like when I was just not popping up, like the Twitter's not new anymore, but like when I was coming up, like it was like a new thing. It's like an Instagram was new, it's like, how do I use these tools? Like, yeah, man, I'm the accumulative sum of everything I've ever done. And I think I started working with Brendan after releasing a bunch of music on my own. And I want to put a tarp on this conversation with when I started releasing music, I always wanted to just create an experience that is like from me to the people who like my music. But before I could do that, I had to find out who liked my music. So I was just putting music out. Like I wasn't really planning. I didn't even know what royalty splits were. Spotify didn't exist when I started putting music out. You feel me? I was just putting things on the internet. And slowly but surely, like my tribe started building. Like it's like, who the fuck is this? This is fire. This is weird, but I think I like it. I don't know. I'm gonna go listen some more. And that.
Were you always into the alternative hip hop, or were you a rapper first? Like before you start,
Nah, I was always like an alternative rapper. Like even when I started like recording with my guys back in the day when we called ourselves Crew, with like T-City, my guy Set, my guy Rec, who goes by Castle now. They would always just call me the most unorthodox rapper. Like everything, no matter what the song was, I would just come with a flow that just made zero sense. And at first I was insecure about it, but then I started realizing that was my secret weapon. Like I could pull up on something the way no one else can, and that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. But yeah, like I always wanted to create an experience where I'm just kind of in charge of my destiny. And after my last project, working with this team that I had built, it was nice working with a team, but I didn't always like asking for people's opinions on things, because don't get it twisted, I value opinions, and when I have questions I ask my close confidants, but like I just want to do shit. I'm spontaneous as fuck. Like some days I wake up like I want to put a song out tomorrow, and like I do, and and like someone hits me up like, yo, I thought about ending it today, and like, yo, that song saved me, and I'm like, well, fuck,
let's go.
That matters to me more than like planning a rollout and making sure it's okay with the label and is everything cleared. It's like, yo, fuck off. Like I'm not asking for permission to put art into the world. So I felt like even with my team, there was kind of like a permission aspect, and that's with all due respect to everyone I work with, but I'm just not in a place where I want to do that anymore. So yeah, the Dolo journey has been my trajectory for the past like 8-9 months, and I love it.
So if we look at this board, you're in this journne. What are we looking for now? What's our move? We're outside.
I love being outside, man.
So what are we doing outside? What we doing? What we conquering? What we got? What do we got coming up?
I'll start with my intention. My intention is to create like a hub of creativity that I guess you could call a label, that offers freedom to artists, financial freedom and freedom to artists who it believes in, with like no interest. Like labels are like banks, man. Like they give you money and then interest accumulates, and then you're paying for the studio bus, and you're paying for the food you never thought you ordered, and you're paying for like this, that, and the third, and your advance runs out. Like I'm ideally trying to create a comfortable space where creators can blossom and bloom. and I want to create that independently. That's kind of like my big idea. My day-to-day idea is just to do everything I'm doing right now, which is to release music at the rate I want to release it, and ideally make a lot of people's lives a bit easier because they have some dope songs to play. I want financial independence for everyone that I love, including myself, my parents, my girl, my family, my siblings, my boys, the people I believe in. I want to be able to sign the artists I work with, like guys like my boy Jimmy Bricks, one of the best rappers in the world. But
shout out, man, Jimmy Bricks.
Yeah, a lot of people are really fucking talented, but they have a individualized mind state, and like the industry doesn't like they like individualism that they can control. They don't like free thinkers. It's just factoids. My people that I roll with, we're free thinking motherfuckers. You know, we're scary to like an established order, but I want to be able to sign people that I believe in.
The free thinkers.
Yeah, 1000%. It's because we can shape, rebuild, remold, and shape society into a better place, and that's scary. You know, but scary is good. So yeah, I want to be able to offer help to people I believe in, and like my plan looking at, man, like it's like every day is still a struggle too, you know, like every day-to-day move it takes a lot of thought, because being an independent entity, like everything comes out of pocket, like marketing expenditure, investing in video, merch, you gotta buy the merch first and foremost out of pocket, creative endeavors such as photo shoots, fucking everything. And you know, like these are things that typically a team or a label or people get advances for, or they get money for.
They take care
this shit's coming out of pocket, you know? That shit's hard. But like, I feel like the harder the battle, the fucking sweeter the reward, man. Like, and I've always been okay with taking the stairs. Like, I'm not an elevator person, you know. Like, I'm super okay with the stairs, man. Like, if I get tired, I'll take a minute and then I'll keep going. You know, like I'm still gonna get to my destination. It's just gonna take a little bit longer.
You're here for the long run.
Yeah, 100%. I'm here for another 10. You know, God willing, I'm here for another 10. You know, I've created a bit of independence, and I think with independence comes a bit of leverage, and we're gonna keep building that.
So let's talk about your grind, man. Since you created this independency, and you've been out here for 10 years, you know what I'm saying, doing your thing, rocking the mic and stuff like that, you know. What is the toughest thing that you can tell the people that are looking at you right now? What is the toughest thing that Dillan had to go through, man? Grinding in this game, man.
Honestly, the toughest thing, it's hard to narrow it down to one thing, but I think one of the toughest things in general is finding like the motivation to keep going when you're not seeing immediate results. Like, it's like if you're working out in the gym every day for like 3 years and like you see no results, you probably stop working out. You know, it's like, why am I doing this? That's kind of what I'm doing. Like the independent route is like, yo, I'm trying to get this, for the sake of the metaphor, like I'm trying to get this 6-pack, but it's going to take 10 years for me, whereas for someone else it might take 6 months. So some days I don't see results, and you know, that shit's hard, because I spend 10 hours in the studio, I go to bed with my girl, we get high, we pass out, I wake up, I'm back at it. You know, sometimes spend all of my money I'll get from a sync opportunity or a feature on rent and groceries, and then I'm not sure where the next money's coming in, but I'm still grinding, I'm still recording. It's like, sometimes it feels like insanity when you don't see direct results, but I think the hardest thing was like finding just belief in what I'm doing. It's like, I don't need to see immediate results if I believe that I'm doing something bigger than immediate results, you know? So the hardest thing is moving when you're not seeing immediate bags in the account or immediate recognition you should get. Sometimes it makes the journey a little more difficult. So that would be a hard thing.
And now, something that was most rewarding to you.
Results.
Give us a result that's like, you know, this was a result that, you were looking for this.
Yeah, I'll give you lots. I always wanted to be able to like pay rent from money from streams. I can do that.
Let's get it.
That's results. I always wanted to be able to put music out, and for people, I know this sounds funny, but for like just a lot of people to hear it without putting like marketing money behind it, like just putting it out and like word of mouth. And I remember like when a couple of my first records, like Dillanponders and Bionic Man, and I was like, they started to get to like a couple million streams. I'm like, yo, this is huge, because like results are perspective, you know, like a win for me might not be a win to Justin Bieber, you know, like, well, like a win for me is still a win for me.
It's always.
So, it's like, it depends on how you view what wins are. And like, I've learned to not dwell on my wins, but I've learned to acknowledge them directly and put them on my mental shelf and be like, yo, I fucking did that.
Yeah.
That shit's supposed to be impossible. Fuck these motherfuckers. Like, I did that.
And then you get the fire to go again.
Exactly.
And then
you know? And then that's a continuous momentum builder internally. And I'll be 100 with you, man. Like, the independent road is fucking difficult. Like, literally just last month, I didn't know I was going to pay rent. And then I got, luckily, you know, God willing, like, I got a sync opportunity for a new Netflix show. And I'm like, yo, here's a bag. Let's do this. And it's like, it's always it's a struggle until it's not, you know? And when I say it's a struggle, like, my struggle is not comparable to anyone else's struggle. We all got our own struggles, but this shit's worth it for me because I love what I do. I'm not making music to try and be like a cool guy. Like, I just love making songs. If no one rocked with my music and no one played my songs, I would still be spending as much time on it. I fucking love it. It just happens to be something that resonates with people. But to answer your question, like, what keeps me like going is like the fact that I love doing it and the fact that I see that people love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's affecting people positively, and it's slowly creating a space where I don't value money in the sense that I think it's actually as important as everyone tells us it is, but I value it to the point where I know I need it to live the life that I want to live and the life that I want to foster for my friends and family. So like, I'm creating a pocket of financial independence on a day-to-day basis, and that's cool too.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. It's a day-to-day chip away thing with me, you know? I'm not trying to like just get the whole fucking I grew up before I blew up, you know, like a lot of people like don't do that. Like they blow and they're like, what the fuck? Like millions of dollars, what? Like I spend a lot of time growing on my journey. And there's a lot of opportunities that I won't name names, but like label opportunities, co-sign opportunities, I could have hopped on easy.
Maybe you want to give us a little small scoop, maybe? Just small scoop.
I was in cahoots with I'm not gonna say any names.
Almost got him.
I can't. Yeah, you almost got me. Because I get a genuine vibe from you, but you know, we're filming. I'm not gonna name names, but staying true to like the beat of my drum has been something that is just a very rewarding experience, you know. And I feel like the harder something is, sometimes the better it will be in the long run.
All right, one of my last questions, man.
Yeah.
How is the music in T-Dot? Is it is it hot? Is it scorching?
Two
like,
sides.
What's going on?
Two sides to this question.
Okay, we want both.
So there's one side where like there's what is acceptably hot, which is like the artists in Toronto who try to sound like artists in America.
Dylan, we only talk good music here.
Okay, good.
We only do good music here.
So I don't even have to go through that right now.
No, we only do good music here. Yeah, only good music
Yes,
here.
the music I fuck with in the city is ridiculous. Yeah, man, like our city's a hub. From like artists like Terrell Morris, I'm gonna name drop, Sean Leon, Alan Raymond, fucking even artists who are doing their own thing like 88 Glam, artists like, man, Toronto is blazing, if you ask me, you know? Like, my favorite artists are all my friends. Yeah.
You know,
and I'm trying to keep that as unbiased as possible.
Yeah.
But the music scene in the city, I think it's really powerful. Now, do I agree with, like, what the vast amount of people find to be, like, hot music in Toronto? Not really, you know?
No.
I don't, but I definitely think this is one of the most talented cities in the world, and it can bang with the Atlantas. It can bang with anywhere.
That's what's up.
100% top.
That's what's up.
And yo, if we are leaning to the end of this motherfucking thing, I just want to bring up my next project.
Yes, for sure.
Album mode. I live in a perpetual state of creation, so I'm always making things, bunch of projects, bunch of tapes, bunch of songs, and album mode is kind of like the accumulative sum of all of that work. And I'm dropping the first single off of album mode April 1st. And I'm dropping the second single April 14th. And I'm dropping the third single on April 30th. And I'm coming in really hot with this one. On the melodic tape, my last one, I really had to let that out. But people have very short memory banks, and I feel like people forget. Like, what I can do when it comes to spitting. So this is like a solid reminder, this tape. And
is this King of the Town type talks?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's King of the Town. It's like 16 King of the Towns. Yeah.
Can we get the name of the project?
Yeah, it's called Album Mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dillanponders, thank you for coming to the Red Cup Cafe. We appreciate you coming. You already know, you gotta be out. I'm your host, Mizy, and we out.